नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Today we are going to discuss from Bhagavad Gita as it is, from chapter 3, which is entitled Karma Yoga, and the text number is 35. So those who have facility to read the verse, they can see it in your mobiles and repeat after me. श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः। श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः। श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः।
श्रेया स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्म स्वानुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः।
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वानुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः।
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावहः।
Mothers, okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of iskcon. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duties. For to follow another's path is dangerous. Purport. One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness rather than those prescribed for others. Materially, prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psycho-physical condition, under the spell of the modes of material nature. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. But whether material or spiritual, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duties. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for his particular situation and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya it is better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmana who follows the principles of non-violence. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by a gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later on he acted as a Brahmana, whereas Parashuram was a Brahmana, but later on he acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so. But as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness. Om Jnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamarupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shritaf Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. In today's verse, the discussion is about prescribed duties. In today's modern world, this concept of prescribed duties is very difficult to understand because the sense of duty has been replaced by sense of right. Today we see people are, oh Maharaj is here already. Hare Krishna. No. Today the verse is Shreyan Sudharmo Viguna Paradharma Sanishtita. So, sense of duty and sense of rights. So the present day society, the emphasis is given more on our rights than on our duties. Therefore this whole concept of prescribed duties may appear to be very difficult to be understood in today's context. So that's our topic of discussion today. We will try to see in some detail of the importance of understanding what is our prescribed duties and how to execute it in today's world. So if we see why this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, because Arjuna declined to fight. That was the primary reason why Krishna had to speak Bhagavad Gita. So now Krishna is explaining Arjuna why he should fight, why he should not refrain from fighting. Before this, in chapter 1, this is chapter 3. In chapter 1, Arjuna gave many sound reasons for why he should not fight. Because Arjuna was also a very learned man. In Vedic culture, especially the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, they will be very learned in scriptures. Because both of them are leaders of the society. So Arjuna also was well read. But of course, however well read we may be, there are times in our life when we are stuck up. Therefore, we all need spiritual master in our life, whom we can approach whenever we are faced with any such dilemma. And spiritual master, because he is thoroughly learned in scriptures and self-realized, he can guide us even in those moments when we are unable to decide what is right, what is wrong. So that was the situation with Arjuna. When Arjuna saw that he is supposed to fight with those who are his family members, he started thinking, is it really a just cause to fight? Because by fighting, we all will be killing each other. We are all family relatives. So even if we get the kingdom, what's the use of such a kingdom when all the relatives will be dead? And another thing, what he thought was about, in this fight, all the elder male members of the families will be killed. Then what will happen to the women? Because without the protection of these elderly male members of the families, the women will be left unprotected. And because of that, they will not be able to follow the path of dharma. They may be exploited, and that will result in progeny who are unable to execute dharma, religion. And because of that, the whole ancestors of the family, they will fall into hell. And even those who are the cause of creating such situation will also go to hell. So that will be a very inauspicious thing for every one of us. Because it's a big sin that we are going to do. Because we are killing each other, our family members, just for the sake of getting the kingdom. So these were some of the arguments of Arjuna, and if we see, Arjuna was also thinking of duty only. Arjuna was not an ordinary person who was thinking of how to just grab kingdom. No, he was thinking, is it just or not? Is it my duty or not? This is the difference between a civilized man and uncivilized man. Civilized man is always conscious about his duties, whereas uncivilized, unaryan, in Vedic terminology it is called unaryan, aryan and unaryan. The uncivilized, the unaryans, their only business in life is eat, drink and marry. That is all that they can see in life. Therefore, they are not least concerned about their duties. And if at all some duties are there amongst the people where that's the goal of life, eat, drink and marry, then it is at a very rudimentary level. Like what we see in today, the government rules, the constitution, is primarily to enable everyone to enjoy as much as they can this world. The rules are there just to ensure that in the process of enjoying as much as they can, they should not disturb others' enjoyment. then that's why the man-made rules are made. But there is no other higher purpose beyond than that. Whereas in a civilized society, in a Vedic society, the goal of human existence is fixed, at least to be liberation, to stop this cycle of birth and death forever, and not try to live happily in this world. Rather, to understand that no one has ever lived happily in this world. No one is presently living and no one can ever live. Because this world is described by the very Creator as Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Meaning, it is a place of miseries. Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. It is temporary. Therefore, Lord has made this creation and Lord has given scriptures for us to live in this world in a way that actually we can come out of this world. We can go out of this world and go back home, back to Godhead, our original home. Therefore, the scriptures are given. And in scriptures we get different rules of living. Besides information about the spiritual world and our eternal activities in the spiritual world, scriptures tell us what we should do now as we are living here, so that we can start our journey back home, back to God. So this is the concept of duty. In the real sense, this is the primary thing. The duty are those activities enjoined in the scriptures given by the Lord to all of us, by doing which we will not only be able to maintain ourselves in this world, but while doing so, at the same time, we will be able to purify our existence, purify our desires, which are the root cause of our entanglement in this material world. And because of that purification of the heart, gradually we will be able to understand God, Krishna, ourselves being different from the body as a spirit soul, our eternal relationship with Krishna as being his part and parcels, as being his servants. We will be able to realize all these things, and because of that we will not be forced to be reborn again in this material world. Rather, we will be able to go back home, back to God. That is in a nutshell the whole plan of the Lord of why He has given us these scriptures. So here now we are reading this Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna has been made to take up a role of an ignorant person, like an ordinary person in this world. Though Arjuna is an eternal associate of the Lord, but for time being, Lord has made him ignorant of his real nature, and therefore he is speaking as an ordinary man. But this ordinary man is also very elevated compared to ordinary man of today's world. Today's world, ordinary man means mainly who knows nothing about dharma, nothing about our duties. His only thing is like animal. Actually, it's not a man, it's dvipad pashu. Shastra says, ahara nidra bhaya maithunam samanya metad pashubhir nirnanam dharmo hitesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhir nirnanam. Those who are only interested in eating, sleeping, mating and defending, they are no better than animals. So that's the situation of most of the people in today's world. But Arjuna is definitely much elevated in his consciousness compared to them. But still, presently what he is speaking, what he is thinking is not from a real platform, from the purest platform. He is still thinking on a mundane platform, platform of bodily platform, as if we are the bodies. He is still speaking from that platform. But he is considering what should be done, what should not be done. So now in response to Arjuna's dilemma, Krishna is going to delineate through Bhagavad Gita the essence of dharma, the essence of religion. Srila Prabhupada explains from the Vedic scriptures the root meaning of dharma. Duty. Dharma is another way of saying dharma is duty. Dharma can be understood in few ways. All are basically connected. One understanding of dharma is dharma means our duty. What is our duty? What is our duty? The duty comes out of our nature, constitution nature. That governs our duty. So therefore, to understand our duty, we need to understand who we are. What is our relationship to this world? What is our relationship to everyone else? And ultimately, what is our relationship to God? Without understanding that, how we are going to understand what is our duty? So therefore, to understand duty, we need to understand who we are. And this is the first knowledge given by Krishna to us, who we are. Just see today, people spend whole their life and they may learn so many things. They may try to go to moon and Mars, but till the end, they don't even know who they are. What can be more pitiful than this? We know so many things, but we don't know the most essential thing, who we are. So Krishna therefore in Bhagavad Gita first teaches this lesson, who we are. So dharma, any substance has qualities which are inherent to that substance because of its very constitution. Like for example, if there is a substance salt, it has to be salty. If there is a substance sugar, it has to be sweet. There may be a substance looking like salt, but if it is not salty, then we can definitely say it is not salt. So saltiness of salt is said to be its dharma. That nature, that quality of a substance which cannot be separated from that, which will always be present along with that substance, that is called dharma. This is the root understanding of the word dharma. So, everything is a substance. That means it exists. Satta, it exists. And because a thing exists, it is constituted. It is made up of certain thing. And because of that, it has a particular nature. And that is called its dharma, particular quality. So, we are souls. We are not the bodies. What is the dharma of the soul? What is the eternal constitutional nature of the soul? That is what we need to understand first. Body has its own dharma, but we are not the body. We are not matter. Body is basically matter. And this mind and intelligence are also matter. They are subtle matter. But even beyond mind and intelligence, we are spirit substance called soul, which is characterized by consciousness as different from matter. Matter doesn't have consciousness, but spirit or the soul is characterized by consciousness. Consciousness encompasses features like having willpower, volition, desiring capacity, capacity to feel pains and pleasures, to think. These are all what we call consciousness. So, soul is differentiated from matter by presence of consciousness. Now, this soul, its eternal nature is to serve. That is the dharma of the soul, to serve. Therefore, if you examine, all of us are serving someone. There is no one who is not serving anyone. Just think for 1 minute. If you can come up with anyone who is not serving anyone else. Everyone is dependent on others. So they have to serve someone else. There is no one, no soul who is not serving anyone else. So to serve is the dharma of the soul. But we presently are serving those who are not worthy of our service. That is our problem. Soul is meant to serve the Supreme. And with that understanding, those who are connected to Supreme. And that is everything. So in that way, we are servant, but with that understanding, with that connection, that we are connected to God because we are His servant. So though presently also we are serving, parents are serving children, children are serving parents, or politicians serving the citizens, citizens are serving the politicians, like that. But in all these services, we are missing that we should be serving that Supreme Person, Krishna. So therefore, presently, we are not situated in our real dharma. We are not situated in our real dharma because we are presently governed by illusory energy of Krishna, which is called Maya. This material world is governed by one of the potency of Krishna, which is called Maya. Maya, one of the meaning of Maya is illusory. It makes us feel or think or experience things which are not in existence. Ritirtham yat pratiyet na pratiyet chatma. That is one of the definition of Maya. For example, it makes us feel that you are body. And body's pains and pleasures are your pains and pleasure. This illusion is created due to Maya. Because we are under Maya, therefore we think like that, we experience like that. So because of presently we are in Maya, we are not situated in our real dharma. So whole Bhagavad Gita is meant to bring us back to our dharma, to our original situation. Because till we are not situated in our dharma, we will not be happy, we will not be satisfied. Because like a fish, by its very constitution, fish is supposed to be in water. That is the natural place for the fish. So dharma of the fish is to be in water. If the fish is out of water, it cannot be happy. So similarly, any substance, anything, happiness and distress are only in terms of the conscious living entities. If they are situated in their dharma, they will be in their normal position. And if they are not situated in their dharma, they are in the abnormal position. So presently what we are experiencing is our abnormal condition. Like disease, dis-ease. When the body is not functioning normally, it is called diseased condition, correct? And then there will be symptoms of disease. There can be fever, there can be pain, so many things. But these symptoms show that body is not in its normal position. So similarly, in our natural position, the soul's natural position, we are supposed to experience or manifest the qualities of Sat Chit Anand. These are the three primary qualities of pure spirit soul. Sat Chit Anand. That means our existence is eternal. We should not be experiencing death and birth and death. That is one characteristic of pure soul. Sat. Chit. That is knowledgeable. It should not be like Arjuna or all of us. Why is happening like this? Ignorance. Knowledge. Knowing everything. What is what. And third thing is Ananda. Always blissful. Perfectly happy. Not that 5% happiness and then 95% distress. Or sometime happiness, sometime distress. Not like that. Perfect happiness. These are the three primary natural qualities of the soul. But presently what we are experiencing? We are presently experiencing completely opposite of this. Asat, we are experiencing old age, disease, death, birth, death, all these things. Then completely absence of knowledge, who we are, why we have come here, why these things are happening to us, why we are suffering in this world, no knowledge. Who is our real father? Who are our real family members? No idea. Completely. What happens to us after death? No idea. This is second. Asat, Achit and Nirananda. Distress. No satisfaction. Externally we may smile, but internally they are all feeling vacant. So, we are presently in our unnatural position, therefore, we are not able to manifest our natural symptoms. Unnatural symptoms are manifest, like water. At normal temperature, water will be liquid. But if you freeze it, then it will become solid. That's unnatural. So, similarly, we are in our unnatural position. So, this Bhagavad Gita or any scripture teaches us how we can revive our original dharma. That's a very simple thing. That is called dharma. And our highest dharma is to become pure servant of Krishna. Pure servant means when we serve Krishna, because we are servant of Krishna and we are naturally attracted to serve Krishna. That is called loving Krishna. That is the highest dharma. Highest dharma means that is the purest form. Now when we are in this world, we have come to this world by our own wish, having forgotten Krishna. Now once we are here, as Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, we have dharma at two levels simultaneously happening. Because presently we are souls, but at the same time presently we are covered by a body. And human bodies, we all live together, so we form a society. So presently our existence is simultaneously running on two rails. One is spiritual and one material. Therefore, presently we have to perform two sets of duties simultaneously. One duties are our eternal duties, which are pertaining to the soul, which will be eternal. Whether today, when we are in this world, or even if after liberation we go to a spiritual world, these duties will remain same. Because these are the eternal duties of the soul. The second set of duties are those which are pertaining to the type of body and the mind which we have got presently. Based on that, Krishna gives us, for that particular psychophysical conditioning, what that person should do in my service. So that while executing those duties, he will be able to maintain his body and society in a healthy way. And not just healthy way, but in a way by which there is purification of consciousness. So it's a big science, it's a very important science that we are maintaining ourselves, at the same time we are purifying ourselves. But those who are not following the scriptures, their life, their understanding of why I should work, suppose there is a family man, he is not a devotee. What is his understanding why he should work? Jyoti Swarup Prabhu. Ordinarily, why people work? What is their understanding? Why we should work?
To get happy in the life.
Like a family man, I have to, I have business, so what will be the motivation behind his doing business? I have to earn money to maintain my family, and not just maintain, but to give them all the happiness of the world, correct? And that's all. Is there any concept of purification? Purification? Where is the contamination? We can only purify, we can only think of purifying if we understand that we are contaminated. But we are thinking as we are advancing more and more, we are actually advancing. So where is the question of contamination? We are advancing. So we are improving. So just see, because of that, the only motivation behind our doing is to improve our material position, material situation. And actually, on the name of improving our material situation, we are deteriorating it. Why? Because to improve, to live happily, even materially, in a healthy way, also we have to follow laws of God. Because He is the creator. He has made things like, if we have to go in a traffic, there are traffic rules. If we have to enjoy driving and enjoy safe driving, we are supposed to follow those rules. If we don't, then we won't be able to drive safely. So similarly, even to live in this world in a healthy way, even materially in a happy way, we are supposed to follow the rules given by Krishna. Okay? So, Krishna's rules, they do two things. One, help us to live in this world in the healthiest possible way. In a way where all of us can live in a good harmony, in a way which is sustainable, and much more beyond that, which is purifying. All these things are happening in one shot. This is His great plan. So this system of doing one's prescribed duty, materially prescribed duty, is what is called varnashrama dharma, technically. So, Krishna in this shloka, he said, Shreyan swadharma viguna paradharma swanishtita. Swadharma. This swadharma, swa means one's own. So, specifically he is referring to the dharma which is pertaining to our body and mind. Varnashrama dharma. Dharma of the soul is eternal, and that dharma is hearing, chanting, worshipping the Lord, like that. Directly spiritual activities, these are the dharma of the soul. Like presently what we are doing, we are hearing about Krishna. Which dharma we are doing? Dharma of the body or dharma of the soul? Dharma of the soul. So there are primarily 9 limbs, 9 types of devotional service. These are the eternal activities of soul. Presently we are hearing about Krishna. By Krishna's mercy, when we will go back home, then also we will continue hearing about Krishna. Now also we are offering Krishna food. Once we go in the spiritual world, this activity will continue. So these are the eternal activities of soul. This is on one hand we have to do. But then on the other hand, the other part, that is to maintain our body and society, those activities should be done as per the rules of the Lord, called varnashrama, and they are called swadharma. One's own duty. So when it is said prescribed duties, they can be at 2 levels. Eternal duties at the level of soul, prescribed for individual devotee by Krishna through the via medium of his spiritual master. So in our life, all of us should surrender to Krishna through the via medium of a spiritual master. Without that, human life is failure, because we will not be able to connect ourselves, we will not be able to surrender to Krishna. And then spiritual master engages us in spiritual activities in our eternal dharma, seeing our level of consciousness. So therefore, Prabhupada writes in the purport that a disciple should never disobey his spiritual master, the duties given by spiritual master. That is his spiritual prescribed duties. That is one part. Another part is the duties pertaining to his psychophysical conditioning, his varna and ashrama duties. they also should be performed perfectly. According to our psychophysical conditioning, we should do what we should do. So here Krishna is saying, if one does Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharma Sunishtita, it is better to perform your own duty, which is destined, which is given to you according to your psychophysical conditioning. It is better to do that even if you are able to do somebody else's duty better than your own duty. Even if you think that I can do that thing better than mine, even then you should stick to your duty. You should not do others' duties. Because this is what was happening with Arjuna. Arjuna's proposal was, Krishna, this Kshatriya duty, now I have to kill my own kinsman. It's very troublesome. Just imagine, it will be very troublesome for such a dutiful person to kill. He's not after money, he's not after, he says, even if I get the 3 lokas, I am not interested in it. So for such a person, it will be very difficult. So, therefore he was proposing, Krishna, I want to give up fighting. Then Krishna said, then how you will live? I will live by begging. So is begging or giving up this fighting, is it your dharma, Arjuna? That's what Krishna is putting question. Though it may appear to you that my doing my duty is very, very distasteful, appears to be very sinful. It's better I take up the duty of a Brahmana who is non-violent. Brahmanas are supposed to be non-violent. They don't they don't do violence themselves. If a miscreant has to be punished, it should be punished by the Kshatriya. Brahmana himself will not do that. There is a incident which happened around some 700-800 years ago in Srirangam. Have you heard of Srirangam? In South India there is a very Ranganath big temple. So at one time Muslims, they attacked that temple. So there were Brahmanas there, Pujaris. They just stood in front of the Lord, because Muslims, Aurangzeb, they will go and they will destroy the deities. They thought by destroying that they will destroy God. So the Brahmanas, thousands of them, they just stood in front of the Lord, that you cannot reach the Lord before killing us. So these Muslim invaders, they beheaded thousands of them. So, but that is, they will, unfortunately there was no Kshatriya there at that time proper. That's the problem. But they stuck to their dharma. So, that's what Krishna is saying here. It is better to be killed while continuing doing your dharma, rather than take up another's dharma. This is the sum and substance of this. Why? Because by performing somebody else's dharma, we are incurring sins. To do one's own dharma, what is prescribed for you by scriptures, by doing that, you are doing pious activity. You are doing activities which is pleasing to Krishna. But if we take up others' activity, though to us it may appear I am able to do that better, nicely, but in Krishna's eyes, you are displeasing him. This whole pious and impious activities ultimately is based on that principle. What pleases Krishna, what displeases Krishna. That what displeases Krishna is impious activity. And as a result of that, our consciousness will become more and more polluted. We will go more and more away from Krishna. And by pious deeds, we will come to Krishna, closer to Krishna. Of course, while doing these pious deeds, the devotees don't want to enjoy this world, but they want to purify themselves. But doing one's own duty means is the pious duty. So it's very relevant in today's situation where we see that today there is a propaganda that just everyone can do everything. Egalitarian society. Today we are very much into this. There was a French Revolution in which in the 17th century where this concept started and gradually it is increasing. And now the people think that this is the best policy. Let everyone be just same and just do whatever you want. But this is completely against teachings of Bhagavad Gita. It is not to put down anyone. But according to our psychophysical conditioning, if we do the things, we will be able to do that nicely. We will be able to do them in a way that the society is kept healthy, and we will be able to do in a way that we all get purified. Because Krishna knows what one should do. Are we more intelligent than Krishna? Sometimes to a child may appear, father is telling this, I think this is better for me, I will do this. But afterwards he will realize that were the words of wisdom. Correct? So similarly we are seeing we are doing so many societal changes today. Anybody is doing anything, anybody's activity, but you see the result, what is happening. Where are we going? Correct? We are becoming more and more sinful in our activities, and that is leading us away from Krishna consciousness. So, therefore there is a great need for the whole society for this preaching that we should follow Shastras. Ye Shastra vidhim ussujya vartate kamakarata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Krishna says in 16th chapter, those who give up scriptures and do what they want, being driven by lust, desires, they can neither be happy in this world nor they can be happy in the next life and forget about going back home, back to God. So therefore we should understand what is scripture. So therefore we should read Bhagavad Gita as it is and other books of Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavatam. We should regularly read, because in this human birth, if we don't even know the essence of the scriptures, then how are we going to follow them? To follow them, we should understand what they are. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, staying awake in the night, he used to translate these books for us. So it is our first duty that we should regularly read Prabhupada books. That will give us guidance in our life, what we should do, what we should not do. It will purify us and it will bring us to Krishna. So from this class, what I wish, a few points that can be taken home. First, it is important to understand who we are. Then only we can understand what we should do. That is called dharma. To understand these things, we need to study scriptures, where Krishna has given these things for us. We cannot speak to Krishna directly. Arjuna was able to, but we are not. But because of that, we are not the losers in the least. Whatever benefit Arjuna got by directly hearing from Krishna, he can get by reading and following Bhagavad Gita as it is, in association of devotees. So such a great facility is available to us today, so we should not miss it. So while living, we should know how we should live by reading these books and by following them in our life, and seriously take our life. This time is going. Any day we can die. Before we die, we have to perfect our human existence, our whole existence, by connecting ourselves to Krishna. So with this humble request I will end, that every moment we should be very careful how we are spending our time, and doing what Krishna wants us to do, and not doing what Krishna doesn't want us to do. Hare Krishna.